to you. It is Petrie here with you through until 1 o'clock this Thursday morning, Thursday the 27th of July. God, it's nearly the end of the month. How did that happen? Well, at the end of the month, of course, maybe you've got more month than money. Most people do, don't they? My son certainly does. About this time of the month, he'll phone me and say, Mum, you couldn't lend us a few quid, could you? By lend, I mean give, but which always makes me laugh. But so this morning, obviously what we normally do here is I throw out some questions and then we have a conversation about it. But we thought we'd do something a bit different this morning, see if you like it. And that is, we've got an expert who's going to help you with your questions about finance. Okay, so basically I've been looking at a few stories. There was a story yesterday that said, I feel manipulated, the debt help ads targeting struggling mums. If you are in debt, and with the cost of living crisis, of course, many people have been tempted to take out loans, I don't know, you see on websites all the time, don't you? There's Klarna and other systems where you can pay in installments for no interest, but then if you miss an installment, that's when you get whacked with more and more cost. So are you struggling with anything? Are you thinking about taking out a mortgage, but you don't know whether this is the right time to do it? Are you thinking about inheritance tax? Maybe you've just inherited a property and you don't know what on earth is going on. Maybe you're having problems with your bank, with your building society. Whatever it is, maybe you've just not got enough money to pay your bills. Whatever your issue is, give me a call. 0344 499 1000. And my guest, Dr. Roger Gewolb, personal finance, credit expert, founder of Fairmoney.com and campaign for fairfinance.com, will answer your questions. So any financial problems, give us a call. 0344 499 1000. You can message me as well, put the word talk up front, then 87222 is the number that you need. And so, I know it's difficult sometimes to talk about finance, isn't it? It's difficult to talk about debt. I mean, I remember when a few years ago now, when my boy was very little and my work was a bit scant, right? You get some work here and some work there, but there was never quite enough. I got myself into a credit card debt, paying for food and bills and things like that, of over £25,000. So you're not alone. It's taken me a long time. I've paid it all back now. You are not alone. I just want you to know that I'm not sitting here on some lofty high place with any judgment at all. I've certainly been in a place where those letters didn't get opened. They just sat on a stack, and I couldn't bear to look at them. I wouldn't open an envelope in case it had a debt in it or a bill in it. So please trust me when I say that I have been there, and that you will absolutely get no judgment from me. It is a tough place to be, and I've been in the place where I couldn't sleep for worrying about the next bill or the next mortgage payment. So you're in safe hands. Give me a call, 0344 499 1000. And Roger's here now. Roger, Dr. Roger Gewolb, to give you your proper name, but Roger to me. Good morning to you, Roger.
Good morning, Petrie.
It is more common, isn't it, to have that sort of debt, the debt that I've just spoken about, that, how am I going to do this? How am I going to... And so you pay with expensive money.
Yeah. It is expensive money.
But if it's the only money you can get, that's what you do, right?
That's what you've got to use, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. What would
that's why you have to be so careful.
What would your advice be to people who are struggling a bit with debt, just while we're sorting out the calls that are coming in? Is there a cover-all, if you like? Is it that having those envelopes and not wanting to open them is the most awful thing?
Well, I mean, there's two things in the envelopes. One is bills, and then the other is debt repayments for loans that you took out. Obviously, the best thing to do now that interest rates are going up and up and up is not to borrow money if you don't need to. But if you do, then be very, very careful. There's all sorts of traps out there you can fall into where people will consolidate your debts and you'll only have one monthly payment. And you can come and we'll make an arrangement for you, which will probably ruin your credit rating for many years to come. There's all sorts of pitfalls that they don't tell you about. They're all selling their own financial products, and therefore you must be extremely careful and take professional advice. Go talk to your accountant.
A lot of people don't have an accountant or can't afford an accountant or wouldn't know where to find one.
In the high street, walk in the small accountancy firm, walk in the door.
And that will save you money in the long run.
Oh, yeah. Just pay them for an hour or two. It might cost you £100, £200 or something, but it will save you a fortune to get proper advice. And if they feel you're somebody that will get back on their feet one day, they may help you a lot because they'll want you as a client.
What about free advice? Is there free advice out there? I mean, presumably
sure.
Charities and things like that.
There's all the debt charities and the debt advice bureaus, citizens advice. They're very helpful. They can be a bit slow, a bit unwieldy because they're government bureaucratic charity things. But I mean, yeah, if you don't want to go to an accountant, at least go down to Citizens Advice or Step Change or any one of the debt charities and talk to them. And if you're really desperate, call the Samaritans, and they'll direct you to a debt charity or somebody to speak to. There's always somebody to get advice from. You're right. You're not alone. Don't do this on your own. Talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
It's a very odd thing as well with debt that you often find there's generational shame with debts. People who are older will feel, because it used to be shameful, didn't it, to be in debt? I mean, there were debtors' prisons, for goodness sake, way before our time. But it was shameful for our grandparents to be to have debt or to talk about debt. To ignore it, though, has got to be the worst thing to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you owe somebody money, a bank or a company or whatever, talk to them about it. That they'll appreciate, as long as you're staying in touch with them. But to simply ignore it, will worry them.
Again, I just know that there are lots of people who would be not brave enough to do that. But these charities will do it for you, won't they?
They'll help you, sure.
Right, let's go to our first call. And Marie is in Worcestershire. Is it Marie or Mari? Hi, Marie.
Hi.
Good morning, Marie.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
You are so welcome, Marie. Roger is listening. What's your question?
Hi. Regarding inheritance tax, right, where can I get up-to-date, valid, informative information on inheritance tax?
What do you want to do, Marie? Are you trying to avoid it, mitigate it? What do you want to do, Marie? Come on.
Avoiding it is totally impossible, I think. So, before I go to solicitor and do my will, etc., I would like to have a very good informed idea of what I have to pay in my circumstance.
Right. Roger, over to you.
Well, I think two places. Number one, the person who is going to do your will certainly should be able to tell you everything you need to know about inheritance tax, and that should be part of the process that he or she or they go through with you in drafting your will. And if you want to sort of double check on what they say, the government website is full of information about inheritance tax. And if you simply Google inheritance tax, Marie, you'll find hundreds of firms of accountants that publish reams of information about inheritance tax on the internet.
Yes, a lot of information indeed, as opposed to precise. Yes, I like precise and exact.
Yeah. I mean, there's an overload of information. You're absolutely right. And inheritance tax is awfully complicated. So I think you've said it. The person who does your will will give you
Yes,
the precise
I
information.
would like to be informed before I go to him.
Yeah, I get that, Marie, and because I've been looking at what to do with my property.
I'm quite aware, that my solicitor could and would give me that information, but I would much prefer to be as well informed as possible and then say this, that.
A financial advisor, Roger, would that be somebody?
Oh no.
I mean, isn't this the first thing you would discuss with the person doing your will? Is the inheritance tax situation before you just?
Correct, but I would like to be informed before.
Right. Well, you may get two different kinds of advice then. If you speak to one expert and then go speak to the person doing your will, they may have different views, and the person you speak to first may not have all the information about you that your solicitor will have, and you might get the wrong advice. So I'd be careful there. I would start with your lawyer. I would sit down and say, right, I want precise information about inheritance tax before we start drafting this will of mine.
Right.
You don't want too much. You don't want an overload of information, Marie, like you might get from the internet, and you don't want too many different people telling you different things, especially when some of those people don't have the full facts about your personal situation.
Well, no. I mean, the full facts of your personal situation. It's the amount of money that you have to pay in inheritance tax if you have that amount of money. It's pretty basic. You have that property, you have that amount of money. And how can you will that, and can you pay least amount of
It's a bit more complicated than that with respect. There are all kinds of family and property allowances you can take advantage of, all sorts of tricks and things you can do that lawyers know that we don't. Yeah,
correct.
I would look into that.
But you wouldn't get that on the government side. No.
Yes, the government site describes it all, but it's in government site language, if you will.
Correct.
And it's kind of hard to plow through it all and apply it to your own.
But would the government site, Roger, tell you how to mitigate inheritance tax?
Not so much, no.
No. I think that's what Marie's asking about.
Yeah.
Well, you never know, Marie. I mean, the Tories are saying they might abolish it altogether.
Yeah.
Let's vote the Tories.
Oh no! Well, you'd have to arrange your death so that it fell within them bringing it in and them getting out. So
I'm fine.
You might have a very narrow window. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bless your heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, Marie. Yes, it's an interesting, isn't it? Because there's lots of misinformation about inheritance tax as well that's around about, if you give your property to your child 7 years before you can't die within 7 years, then they get it without inheritance tax. But what you don't understand is you've got to pay rent to your child at, market values and all. I mean, it gets very, very complicated at some point.
Yeah.
And it's the lawyers that know the answers to that.
Sure, it's the specialists.
Yeah. Let's talk to Rob, who's in Somerset now. Good morning, Rob. You
Good morning.
are in a bit of a pickle with money at the moment?
Yeah, unfortunately I'm unemployed at the minute, which means I'm on universal credit.
Mm-hmm.
I get 270 something pounds a month, but the thing is, I've got a £3,500 overdraft. So 90 to 100, depending on the month or whatever, is taken immediately out of that. I'm just wondering, would I be better off trying to get a loan? Because obviously interest rates are huge at the minute, so I'm not quite sure whether I'd be better off sticking where I am or.
What is the cost of the overdraft at the moment?
Yeah, well, what's the interest rate on your overdraft, Rob?
Sorry, could you say that again?
What is the interest rate on your overdraft? Do you happen to know?
I don't, I'm afraid, no.
Okay, well, before we can answer that question, you need to know what the interest rate on the overdraft is. Now, unbelievably, banks for the last few years are allowed to charge like 45% interest on overdrafts.
Okay.
So you may be paying a staggering amount. I mean, you say that they take £92 a month?
Pretty much, yeah. That'd be an average, yeah.
Well, I mean, a 10% interest rate would be £350 a year.
Okay.
And if you're paying £92 a month, you're paying 4 times more than that.
Yeah.
And it sounds as if you might be paying 40% on your interest rate, which I know is sick making, but the banks are allowed to get away with it because the regulators are so ruddy weak. So I would get out of that overdraft and get a loan, even if you pay 12 or 15% or more, you'll be saving yourself a hell of a lot of money.
But as an unemployed person, would I be able to get a loan?
That's the issue.
£3,500. That's a lot.
You could certainly try to get your bank to convert the overdraft to a loan. You could go to a debt charity and tell them that they must approach the bank and say this is unconscionable, charging somebody without income who's on universal such a high rate of interest and not giving him a loan. And they could make a real stink about it. And then the bank may put you on a loan at 8%, 10%, 12%, which will cut that 90 quid to maybe 30, 40.
Oh, crikey, that would be a massive help.
What a big difference that is.
Well,
yeah.
you find out first thing in the morning how much your overdraft is. It must be in the documents the bank sends you. And then call up the bank.
To the limit every month. I'm up to my £3,500.
Yeah, of course you are. There's no way of getting out of it when you're in that.
Well, no. That's neither here nor there. We're talking about the interest rate, not the principal. So you find out what the interest rate is, and if you can't find it in your papers, this is terrible, Rob. If you can't find and that the bank would exploit you like this and not help you, I see this kind of thing all the time. It's dreadful. I've got nothing against banks. I've been on television the last 3 days talking about this whole Coots thing and saying that banks are not evil places. They're filled with hundreds of thousands of people that just want to help customers, but for some reason, always at the top, the policy is set by some pretty toxic people, and this kind of thing happens. So in the morning, find out what your interest rate is. If you can't see it in the papers, call up the bank and say, what's the interest rate on this overdraft? Will you please convert this to a loan? It's unconscionable. I'm not employed. Give me a loan for 12 months. And if they refuse you, make sure you get the name of the person you spoke to. Then go down to Citizens Advice or Step Change or somebody like that and tell them to get on your case.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, thank you so much.
You're not being treated fairly, and there are rules.
I feel for you. You're not being treated fairly. Well said. Absolutely, it's scandalous.
Yeah, it really is.
I quickly say to Petrie, I spoke to you about 6 months ago, and he helped me through a really bad stage. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, it was good that you're still watching and taking part. Thank you for calling.
We feel for you, Rob.
Yeah. Good luck with that, Rob. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, my love. Take care.
Good luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah, it does seem to be very unfair, doesn't it? It's also, Roger, like with bank charges and things, they're not allowed just to pluck a number out of the air, although they do. They have to prove, don't they, that letter that they spaffed out, that actually it cost 50 quid for them to do it, which often it's pennies and not pounds. Right.
I know.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous.
I know.
Right, we're going to take a quick break now, but there's loads of you calling in, so stay where you are. If you've got any financial worries, give us a call and Roger will be able to help you out. Stay where you are.
He's back and he's uncensored. Debating the breaking news and talking to the biggest names. Piers Morgan is live every week with a host of stars. Uncompromising, unmissable, and uncensored. And remember,
if you're thinking it, we're talking about it.
Piers Morgan, Uncensored, Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. on that.
No. I think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not.
You should.
New Nivea Q10 Targeted Wrinkle Filler Serum. With Pure Q10 and Bioxyfill Peptides. Fine lines appear reduced after 5 minutes. For every expression of you, Nivea. Try using our Targeted Wrinkle Filler Serum without day cream. Recommended by 8 out of 10 women.
Estrella Damm presents Where I Want to Be, a film starring the Barcelona singer Bad Gyal.
No, nos vamos a casa. Estás loca. ¿Tú quién te piensas que eres? Por fin aquí.
Full film at estrelladamm.com.
When I see you there, my heart surrenders. It's burning ever and always.
Search for something you love. Etsy has it.
Hi, good morning to you. This is Petrie here with you through until 1 o'clock this morning, and a special guest for you this morning, Dr. Roger Gewolb, who's a personal finance and credit expert and founder of Fairmoney.com and campaignforfairfinance.com, has joined us to help you out. We are aware there's a cost of living crisis, so we thought, Roger and I, that it would be a really good idea that he's here to help you out. Roger, there's a lot of worries people at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, more than ever in a very long time, I think, Petrie.
Yeah, indeed. Let's go to Michael, who's in Norwich. And this is a horrible thing. I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, Michael, I don't know how anybody's got any teeth in this country. Good morning.
Well, I have got teeth, but so I'm 64 years of age, and the dentist has just said to me that I have to have all my teeth extracted now.
Oh gosh! And what cost is he applying to that?
It's there's emotional costs. You have to understand that, but at the same time they're attaching a cost of £3,200, yeah, and they're offering me a payment plan, yeah, of £164 a month, yeah.
Is that private dental cost?
I've been me and my daughter have been the same dentist for always. So they've just 2 months ago they said we can't. You have to pay us now. So my dentist is just.
That doesn't sound right to me, Michael. That you need to find an NHS dentist. There will be.
No, there isn't. Listen. There is not an NHS. They were the last bastion in Norwich.
Roger.
Believe me.
£3,500 to have your teeth taken out.
Have our teeth taken out and have dentures replaced. Yeah.
Right.
£900 for the top, £900 for the bottom, and the rest for the extractions. And I was in the dentist today. Yeah. And my daughter, who's 5, I now have to pay £6 a week in like an insurance policy for her.
No, children get free, don't they? Children are completely free.
No, not anymore. Not if the dentist doesn't offer.
Do NHS treatment.
So I've been dropped. Yeah, I'm 64 years of age. I'm a single parent. Yeah, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and we have been dropped.
Shocking.
Yeah.
It's rotten.
Let's see what. Let's see if Roger can come up with any help. £3,500 that he's being offered a payment scheme for single parent struggling with these charges. Roger, what can he do?
Yeah.
Well, the charges sound very, very high, don't they?
Yeah, it's private. It's obviously not being done on an NHS contract.
It's a dentist that was NHS and they've now gone private.
Yeah, I'm getting confused. So this is or isn't NHS, Michael?
It was NHS until 2 months ago, and now it is no longer. And they've changed the deal that we had. So now I have to pay £6 a week for my 5-year-old daughter, and I have to pay them. I was in the dentist today, and the dentist looked at my teeth, and they're going to extract 2 of my teeth, and I have to give them £400, for the consultation today and the extraction of 2 of my teeth.
But I mean, what happened? You mean they said we're leaving the NHS, and did they give you Did they give you an option to? Did they give you an option to find another NHS dentist?
They did. They said that there was a possibility that I could find another dentist in 2026.
There's no dentist before 2026.
No.
And you believed them?
Well, I believed I was in pain.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But did you look around at all?
No, I didn't. To be honest, I didn't even bother. I was very happy with the dentist I had. She's wonderful. She's thorough. She's her principal, but she wasn't being paid.
I mean, it seems to me, though, that just because they've gone private doesn't mean that you have to. It is hellishly expensive, private dental treatment.
There is no one else to find.
Have you double, triple checked?
I've had my friends. I'm old, so I'm not on the internet, but I've had my friends search around.
Michael.
Yes,
Michael, why don't you perhaps just pick up the phone tomorrow and call the British Dental Association and tell them this story and ask them what's right and what's wrong and whether you really.
Listen, I'm listening to you. Listen.
Well, I mean, the first thing is you should ask them whether it's proper for the dentist, however good they are, to have bounced you off NHS onto 3,500 quid worth of expense. And whether indeed there's no other NHS dentist you could see before 2006. And if they tell you that either of those things is not true, then you have a real case to argue with your dentist.
You use my first name. I don't know your first name.
Roger.
Listen, Roger. It's the way it is.
Is it?
This is the way it is now. Honestly, I've looked and looked and looked. Because I've been in real severe pain and agony. For 3 months, and I've been running around everywhere. And the girl that does my teeth, she's lovely. She's a really. I've got utmost confidence with her. She looks at my daughter's teeth. But.
So let me ask you a question.
Go on.
Why did you call in? What's your question? If everything is fine and they're lovely people, what is your question?
It wasn't a question. It was a statement of the way things are. And I saw on the program tonight, that they were saying that things were just not right. And I do not think that this is.
Michael, Michael?
Taxes all my life. You know?
Yeah,
I've
Michael.
paid my taxes all my life.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm in a situation.
All right, Michael.
And I've go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, we've heard. Let me give you a suggestion. All right. A lot of A&E departments have a dental department for emergencies.
Yeah.
Right. So they have an emergency dental system. It could be that next time, or if you want to go to an A&E that's got, check they've got a dental department. My local one does, for example, but not all of them do. And then go and sit and wait in A&E for an NHS dentist. You might be there all day.
With my 5-year-old daughter.
Okay. You seem to, okay. Your 5-year-old daughter can sit with you in A&E and play puzzles or read a book. Or she can stay with a neighbour or a friend or whatever else you do with a 5-year-old. But you seem to be, every suggestion, you seem to be knocking it back in terms of that you're just going to accept the status quo. I've given you there a free option to go and have your teeth looked at by an NHS dentist in an A&E department.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Thanks very much. Michael, thank you. So there you go. That is always an option. Right? If you're in absolute pain, not all A&Es have a dental department, but a lot of them do. So just find out which one it is and go there if you're in agony, and they will see you.
You can find one, yeah.
Yeah, just find one. Rather than finding reasons not to do that. Tony is in Lancashire and has called in as well. Tony, good morning.
Morning, Petrie.
Good morning. Now, tell me, what's your issue with money?
Right, what it is, it's universal credit. Back in 21, I had a heart attack and I was in hospital for about 3-4 months. When I come out of hospital, I had to go and see my boss. Like, he had a word with me. I can't come back to work until I've had the operations. I've got health implications going on, basically. So when I came out of hospital, I got told to go on universal credit. And while I was on universal credit, I was trying to look elsewhere where I can get help, like ESA, PIP, and stuff. So I eventually got on to ESA and PIP, because that's a fairly application form for PIP. And basically, eventually, I got backdated from PIP. So I'm going to use that money to pay my mortgage, because while I was in hospital, I couldn't pay my mortgage. I was only on statutory sick pay. So anyway, universal credit took £1,500 of my money of PIP when I got back, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't quite follow. So, okay, so you were sent home from work. Your statutory sick pay had run out.
I weren't sent home from work. I got sent home from hospital, because I was in hospital for about 3-4 months.
Right.
I don't know, I got 2 stents in my heart, I've got a leakage valve, I've got loads of stuff going on. Basically, I didn't know where to turn, because my boss, I had to go and see my boss. Like, he can't employ me anymore because of my health implications. So if I died on shop floor, who's to be at fault? Me, my boss?
Yeah, sure, I understand that. So you were immediately put on universal credit, and then you decide...
They took 1,500 quid off me, of the money what I got backdated from PIP, because I was going to use that money to pay my mortgage before I lose my house.
But why did they tell you they were taking the money off you?
They didn't give me a reason or anything. They just took £1,500 and I couldn't pay my mortgage, and I'm still behind on my mortgage, and I still could get a red letter for my mortgage that we're taking your house off you, and I'm still worried about it now.
Right, Roger, what can we do?
Well, I mean, did they ever explain why they took that money off you?
No, they didn't explain. I even asked for an explanation and stuff, what's the reason and stuff. They couldn't give me a reason. They just took it off me, and that's that. And I was so bloody wounded that they took it off me, and I'm still worried about losing my house. Like,
well, I would get myself down. I would get myself down to Citizen Advice or somewhere like that very quickly, Tony.
Oh, that's the thing. I've run Citizen Advice. They're not really giving any good advice. Half of these charities, like there's one charity, I can't bloody name them off the top of my head. CAP, I think they were called, yeah. CAP they were called, and they were telling me not to pay my mortgage. That were bad advice, what they were telling me in the first place. They were telling me all sorts of bloody lies.
That's not good advice. Yeah.
Did you go to Citizens Advice?
Say that again.
Did you go to Citizens Advice Bureau?
Well, I've rung them loads of times, and not just, I can't get any answer. I'm just like going in circles, really.
Well, I
So
mean,
you went to.
I think there are two things you can do here. So one is to go and have a meeting about your benefits and get them to talk you through why they removed this 1,500. They may have made a mistake, so get them to talk it through, but do it face to face. So try and arrange a meeting with the benefits office. And the other one is to walk into a Citizens Advice and wait there until somebody can see you and ask them for help.
But that's another thing, because I live in Darwin, love. Like, there's no Citizens Advice. There's none in Darwin. There's none in Blackburn. Of course, there's one. He's bloody hacky to me.
Well, you can definitely get to...
The bus services are bloody rubbish round here. For starters.
If we can just not swear every other word, that would be lovely. But yeah, Tony, then go make an appointment to go to your benefits office and get them to talk you through it step by step, exactly why they took it from you. If they're planning to do that again and what they expect you to do. That would be my first...
Tony, this is... I'm sorry to cut over you, Petrie. Tony, this is outrageous. You can't treat people like they're treating you. If you will go and find a...
I'm sick as a dog.
Yeah,
if you'll go and find a Citizens Advice Bureau, and as Petrie says, go inside and meet one of the nice people there and tell them this story, I'm sure they will help you, because this is outrageous.
I'll try, but the thing is, though, they prefer you to ring up instead of walking in nowadays or something. I don't know, it's all bloody stupid it is. Sorry about language, my French.
Yeah. Well, listen, my first point of call for you would be to go to the benefits office so that you can talk then to some charity or Citizens Advice about exactly what they've done to you, and maybe there's an appeal process that you can go through. But you'd have to sit and talk to somebody in the benefits office. So I'd make an appointment, go and see them. That's probably the easiest thing to do, and sit down with them and say, explain this to me in words of one syllable so that I can understand.
To be honest with you, I don't think they should have took that money off me in the first place.
But I can't, and Roger and I can't answer that. Only they can. So you will need to go
I'll try and walk in Citizens Advice, walking in close as one. I'll do this.
Yeah, and go to the benefits office. Go and talk to somebody in benefits, and they'll give you the information.
Right, thank you. Yeah, cheers.
All right, cheers. Bye bye.
And say ruddy instead of bloody when you're there. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that if he's got the information from the benefits office first, he can then take that to Citizens Advice, and maybe they can mount an appeal process.
Even if he doesn't, Citizens Advice can get that off them.
Yeah.
If you're only going to make one stop, go to the CAB. Because this is what they were set up to deal with. This is absolutely outrageous that you should be wandering around wondering why they've taken 1,500 nicker off.
And how can they just dip into your bank account and take it anyway?
Hello?
It's a bit sus, isn't it? Roger, stay right there. We're going to take a quick break. We've still got more calls to come, so stay where you are. We're offering financial assistance this morning, so over to you in just a moment.
He's the voice of the people, and he's live. Jeremy Kyle brings you all the news, big opinions and debates, as well as great guests and no-holds-barred interviews. And he's talking about the issues you care about. And remember,
if you're thinking about it, we will be talking about it.
Join JK on TalkTV, Monday to Thursday.
At Wix, our design consultants won't rest until they've helped create the kitchen of your dreams. Whether it's your first kitchen or your forever kitchen. And right now, our kitchen sale is on. Don't be house embarrassed, be house proud with Wix.
Inspires attention. Kia, movement that inspires.
Time for the usual.
How about a refreshing choice? Welcome to Camden Town Brewery. Yeah! Woo! Camden Hells. Camden Pale.
And what else?
What more do you want? It's refreshing Camden beer. That's fresh as hells.
Hi, good morning to you. It's Petrie here with you until 1 o'clock this morning. That gives us just shy of 15 minutes left together. A special hour this hour where Dr. Roger Gewolb is with me to help you with your financial woes and worries. Sarah is in Liverpool, Roger. Hi, Sarah. Good morning.
Good morning, Petrie. How are you?
I'm extremely well. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Good, good. What's your problem?
Excuse me.
Oh, apart from a cough.
A bit of a frog in the throat there. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's a question for Roger. Does he think it's right that the most vulnerable in society, the sick and disabled, are most disadvantaged by the DWP? By the DWP not giving them enough money to live on? What I'm talking about is, if anyone's on ASA, people think, oh yes, well you get so much, you get, what's it, £270 a fortnight. Now, with the cost of living, and also the fact that anybody who's on ASA has to fork out for extra medical treatments and medications because the NHS doesn't give them what they're supposed to give them. And people have a choice between eating or treatment, and 9 times out of 10 treatment wins. And especially if the person is living with somebody who's in a worse state than them, and they're seeing what's going on, and they say, well, I can't have this, I've got to make sure you get that treatment because the NHS is leaving you to rot, as I know from first-hand experience on this. And every which way you turn with the DWP, unless you know the lingo, you literally get treated like dirt, like the last caller who, if he's still listening, the best person to get hold of is his MP, and make sure he's got all his paper, every single bit of paper that the DWP has sent him.
Yeah, people, Sarah, you are right that people are disadvantaged if they don't speak the language, aren't they? They're disadvantaged if they don't know to escalate an issue or a problem. But your question to Roger was, does he think it's...
How anybody, if somebody's on PIP, I know people on PIP get an extra £150 a week more than somebody who's on ESA. But 9 times out of 10, people on ESA won't go for PIP because they know the way it's rigged against people. You can have all of the documentation from your GP, from your consultants, from anybody else you see, physio, anybody else who treats you. You can have as much as you like, and the evidence is copper bottom that yes, you should be on PIP. But if you go to every time people go to a tribunal, I've seen people who go to tribunal to try and get PIP come out and literally collapse and have the paramedics around, and they still don't get it.
Roger, is there, Sarah, hang on just a minute. Let's just put a question to Roger. Are there advocates that people can take with them to these meetings? Because it is unfair. The NHS is, it's two-tier. You either know how to use it or you don't know how to use it. The same with benefit system. If you know the system, you're much more likely to get the money that you're owed. Is there a way to help people with that?
Yeah, I mean, once again, we go back to the charities. They have advocates who will go along with you, or at least coach you, what to say in these meetings, and then you report back, and there's a dialogue. Yeah, you can get professional help.
Yeah, I've seen the professional help. It varies from place to place. Some are very good.
Sure.
We're quite lucky where we're not far from where I live. Our GP practice is one of the best in Liverpool, or Merseyside, I should say. And they have a hotline straight through to the local law centre. Now, not everybody is that lucky. And some of the advocates are really, some of them are great, and others are pretty woeful. And you've got to find the right ones, and it is very, very hard.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's the difference between that extra £150 and getting it and not getting it. I guess, again, Roger, appeal processes, and these charities will know.
You've got to find somebody who knows their way around. It's so labyrinthian.
I know.
It's so
Deliberately
disorganized.
So. Yeah.
It's maddening. But if you find somebody who knows the ropes, they'll get you through it.
Sarah, thank you very much indeed. Nikki is in Belfast and has a specific question about her employer not paying her. Nikki, good morning.
Ooh.
Hi, how are you? Hello.
Good. I hope you're okay. Tell us your story.
Oh, it's been horrific. I took a week ago, starting on the 17th, Monday the 17th, I took a live-in nanny job because one of the parents, well, there's only one parent in the household, they had to go away. And it was all very last minute. I saw the contract on the Sunday. I got the contract sent to me by email on the following Wednesday, and it had just totally changed. Like, pretty much nothing was the same. But then another revelation happened on the Thursday that the parent could actually be back in at the weekend. So I would have been out of a job after a week, and I'd given up my last job to take this one that was supposed to go on till March. And when I politely questioned it, I was told I was going down rabbit holes and totally fobbed off. And then I subsequently had an email saying that I had been questioning the children, their two teenage children, that then over days escalated that there was misconduct going on in the house. So much so that on Monday morning, I phoned social services and said to them, I need to leave this house. I need to guard myself and get out of this house. Because I can't be in a position where I'm still shaking.
Oh, you sound really upset.
Today. I've worked in childcare for 4 years. Yeah, I've worked for social services in the past, schools, nurseries, private homes. I've done a lot of different things. I have never been in a position like this. But I also then saw that the mother had re-advertised my job. She kept emailing me saying, I'm being upfront with you. Well, she's advertising the job that I'm doing. And she's paid me for 8 days of 24/7 hour cover, just over £700. Now I'm qualified, I'm very qualified, and that is not what the rate was, obviously, for 24-hour care. I get less than that for doing part-time work, let alone.
And you're so vulnerable, aren't you, when you go into somebody's house and I feel for you, I really do, Nikki. So the point is that you want
my doctor today and get sleeping. I have not slept for nearly a week. I mean, I feel so sick. And I actually said to my doctor, if I accused you of something sitting here, you would either leave the room or bring somebody in. I couldn't do either. I couldn't bring anybody into that house because I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
There's no relations here, and I also couldn't leave because I can't leave two children. And that's why I had to phone social services in the end to say, I can't leave here, but I'm actually being accused of the most horrific things.
How much do you think you're financially owed by this family?
Well, a lot more than a couple of pounds a day for 24-hour care.
The reason I'm asking is because you can take out a court action, but it depends on the amount of money. Isn't that right, Roger? It's got to be up to a certain amount of money. Roger will talk you through it. This is what I do.
Thank you very much.
Roger.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you're owed £1,000 or £5,000? What?
Well, the way the contract is written is just very strange because she's made it as like a day hours and then evening hours, and it says that it almost makes out that the day rate would work out at £650 a week, but then the babysitting evening is at £10 an hour. So if you put those two together, it's a lot more, obviously, than, I mean, what was it working out?
Sorry, the day rate. Day rate.
I think actually, can you work out what do you feel that you're owed? Because there's different advice at the limit of the money. That's what we're asking.
Yeah, and it's very difficult because the contract that I saw on the Sunday is not what was sent to me. There's just so many inconsistencies in the whole thing. But I'm also now looking at, because I questioned the contract, she just, rather than try to sort it out, it was almost like she was just trying to get rid of me, and hence why I was getting accused of all of these things. I think was to...
Have you sent her an invoice for the difference? Have you sent her an invoice?
No, I only left yesterday. Okay. She did actually pay me today for the minimum. Enough. No, absolutely not enough. I actually want legal advice on how somebody could be. I mean, I've been told to go through her lawyers now, and that I'm harassing her. She has said the most horrific things to me, accusing me of all sorts of things. As I said, so much. I had to phone social services.
Nikki, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about?
Well, I don't know where to turn to for somebody to read the contract.
If I could just.
I don't understand it.
I understand how upset you are, but I'm trying to narrow it down to what you're actually claiming here. I mean, are you worried about the accusations she's made against you, that she's going to report you to somebody? Or are you just worried, or are you, if I could just finish, or are you worried about the money that she owes you?
Both. So, I mean, I would like to get paid for the time I've done. Obviously, the accusations are a lot more, but thankfully, when I spoke to the social worker and read her the emails that I'd received and told her what I had said, and I mean, thank goodness it's all in writing, so that can kind of be proved.
Is it worth fighting her for the money? Is it worth, I mean, that's one thing I would ask myself. Can I go through the stress and the upset?
You know, it's not even so much about the money. It's actually what she said is horrific. Like,
okay, but I mean,
if it's my career, she could have literally, and still could, with whatever allegation she's going to come up with. There's no other adult in the house that I
do you think you need a lawyer to protect you from her carrying
from reputational damage?
Yes, I do, and I also have to go back to social services and speak to them again. Yes.
Well, why don't you just get a lawyer who will handle all of this for you, because it sounds quite dangerous.
Sounds quite yeah. Well, it depends on reputational damage.
The lawyer will deal. Sorry, Petrie. The lawyer will deal with the money she owes you.
Yeah.
The lawyer will try to protect you from her false accusations.
Roger, I'm going to have to wrap you up now because we are literally coming up against the clock, and we have run out of time. Nikki, thank you very much indeed. Get a lawyer is the answer to that. Roger, thank you very much indeed. And to you at home, thank you very much indeed. I am back Monday evening at 11 on the radio and 12 on the telly. See you then.